Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of March 3rd, and we start the week with a power-packed lunar eclipse that did peak at 4:37 a.m. this morning on March 3rd, and boy, was that a stunner. It's also known as a blood moon eclipse, and this is a time where the shadow of the earth falls over the moon and takes away the brilliance of that lunar energy for that period of time. And it's a time also where we have the moon very close to the south lunar node. So this makes it a south node lunar eclipse that is all about areas of our life that we may be needing to walk away from or needing to clear out of life. This week, we also have Venus kind of taking over as the star of the show and moving into a new sign, also having some planetary conjunctions as she moves into that fresh sign of Aries and so much more. So this lunar eclipse, it closes out this eclipse cycle, and eclipses are about cosmic course corrections. It's a moment where we get the intervention from the powers that be, from source energy, and we see our lives sometimes turn upside down during eclipse season. It's a wild card type of energy, so you never really know what to expect, and this really does close out this cycle where we've been working with the South Node in Virgo. And South Node and Virgo, to me, is a double whammy. South Node is about removal. It's taking things out of our life. It's helping us to walk away from things and set things into a better efficiency for our life. And that's what Virgo is all about. It's about efficiency and purging and detoxing. And so double whammy when it comes to maybe something very much being forced out of our life, or finally something being able to be gone and be done and be completed. This is going to be the last South Node eclipse in Virgo for this cycle around. So this has been a massive removal point, and it's almost like the junk truck came and hauled everything away that wasn't serving, it wasn't needed, or if it didn't physically take place for you yet, there has been a decision made or a culmination point reached, as this is a full moon. A lunar eclipse is a full moon, and so it's a culmination point. We've taken things as far as they can go. We've utilized it as much as possible, and now it is time to move on and allow those energies to clear and expect the unexpected still for a little while longer. We are working with this eclipse energy for the next 6 months, but absolutely until the next new moon takes place in 2 weeks, we're going to still be in this eclipse portal, finalizing, closing things out. And this full moon was at 12 degrees Pisces Virgo. So check in your chart and see where this 12-degree Virgo point is so strong. That's where the moon was today on that full moon. So that is definitely a huge spark that is starting off the week. And on March 4th, we have Venus, the planet of love, money, relationships, value systems, in a sextile with Uranus. Sextiles are very harmonious and balanced. They're one of the more benevolent aspects in astrology. And Venus is the pleasure-seeking planet, all about the good things and the things that taste good and feel good. And Venus is again about relationships and money. And Uranus is about surprise and awakening and change. And this is going to be another kind of closeout to a cycle where Venus is making her final sextile to Uranus while Uranus is still in Taurus, because Uranus will be moving out of Taurus into Gemini. And we're going to be getting a lot of fresh energy in terms of are that its own Uranus wildcard energy moving into a new sign and a new area of our charts. But this final sextile that Venus is having while she's in Pisces, with the rest of the Pisces party, having just spoken to Mercury in retrograde and figuring out all the things that need to be edited, reviewed, refreshed, making the sextile with Uranus, making it very easy and having a very balanced awakening, surprise, revolution, revelation in terms of Venus themes. So very, very nice aspect here on March 4th with this sextile to Uranus. It could be a little bit of a surprise. So there could be a bit of a surprise, and it could be even surprise money or surprise love or something just surprising that makes you feel really good and pleasurable. Also on March 4th, the moon moves into Libra. So we have a new mood taking over, and Libra is the sign of balance and harmony. Very much is a sign about weighing out the different sides and seeing different perspectives and having a very fair, diplomatic type of perspective. So when the moon is moving through Libra, this becomes more of what we might be inclined to be feeling and working towards in terms of bringing in those vibes. And the rest of the evening is quite busy. There's actually a lot of lunar activity most of the week. The only days that are that are a little quieter, would be Tuesday the 3rd, but that's the lunar eclipse. So I wouldn't say that that's a quiet day, but a little less activity on the 3rd, the 6th, and the 3rd and the 6th, I would say. Those are just the days where the moon isn't doing as much, and there are no other lunar aspects. So when the moon moves into Libra, we have that opposition with Neptune and Saturn and the trine with Pluto. And so this is activating some of this newer energy, this revolutionary energy from these planets moving into new signs and taking on some new responsibilities here. And on March 5th, the sun is in a trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is in retrograde, actually in exaltation. And Jupiter is the planet of wisdom and good luck and of all kind of learned things and higher thinking. And so when the sun makes a trine to Jupiter, this is just a day where we receive wisdom. We receive maybe even some of that good luck and good fortune fortune and benevolence that Jupiter carries with it. And the sun represents us. It's our ego. It's who we are. It's what we're experiencing. And the sun is in Pisces. So this is a 15-degree Pisces Cancer trine. And that's a water trine, which is a lot about emotions, and it's about a little more of a feminine, passive type of reception energy. So this very much feels to me like receiving a gift or receiving some wisdom on the 5th. And then on March 6th, this is the day that Venus is moving into Aries, leaving the sign of Pisces, and she is going to be touching on this 0-degree point of Aries, which starts a brand new cycle for her and starts a brand new cycle for what she represents, which is love and money and what we value. And so when Venus moves into Aries, this kind of puts our vibe on relationships into a new place. See, because Venus represents action in relationships. And so Aries is about new beginnings. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So relationships get a burst of new energy this week. And they're really feeling like turning that corner and starting that new cycle. The moon moves into Scorpio on March 6th. And again, this is sort of adjusting the mood, adjusting the vibes. And Scorpio is a lot different of an energy than Libra. Libra is a little more social. It's an air sign, so appreciates being around other people. And actually, Libra loves other people, just adores them. And Libra is not afraid to, be out and be hanging out and talking with others. Well, Scorpio is a little more of a private type of energy. It's much more intimate, prefers quiet and intimate spaces and more of those intimate personal relationships and tends to pull in. This is another water sign. So Scorpio is quite emotional and can be a little more drawn in, focusing on emotions and those very, very deep relationships and thoughts and feelings that we have. Scorpio goes very, very, very deep about almost everything. So we spend the 7th and the 8th with this Scorpio moon in a very much more quiet type of personal. We need just a little more of our own personal space on the 7th and the 8th. And unfortunately, it's a kind of busy time. There is a lot of aspects on Saturday and Sunday. So it could feel like a bit of a push and a pull. Like the vibe is that, hey, I just kind of want to be in a closed environment with just the people that are closest to me, but you're being kind of forced to go out due to plans or circumstances or whatever that takes place, that you're being pulled away from that need, that desire to do what the moon's doing. And there's just a lot of activity. So on the 7th, the sun in Pisces is going to conjunct with Mercury retrograde. And this could be quite the illumination point for the week. See that sun trine Jupiter on the 5th. That seems like quite an illumination point for the week. Like something is being gifted to us and given to us in terms of benevolence and wisdom. And then on the 7th, the sun is coming into this conjunction with Mercury retrograde, who is thinking about the past and is going back and reviewing and refreshing and reorganizing and reinstituting different areas of life in terms of the Pisces area of our life. So we get an illumination in terms of this Mercury retrograde and how things are going. Are we doing well? Are we doing the work that needs to be done here in Pisces during this Mercury retrograde? Well, we're going to know. There's going to be quite the brilliant knowing. It can be either in form of communication. This is could be just a very intuitive type of communication that comes from source. You just get this blast of information from the gods, and Mercury goes into retrograde to bring those messages back. And on the same day, the 7th, Venus is going to make that conjunction with Neptune. And soon after, on the morning of the 8th, will conjunct with Saturn. So Venus is basically conjuncting with these two planets at the same time because they are only a degree apart from each other. So it's just a huge triple planetary conjunction between Venus, Neptune, and Saturn this weekend, which can feel, well, it's going to spark those new beginnings. It's going to bring a lot of that fiery Aries energy, which is all about initiating new things. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's starting new cycles. Neptune and Saturn have both moved into Aries and started these new cycles very recently. And so this is a beautiful place for Venus to meet up with these two planets. And she has the opportunity to start new cycles, have complete refresh. See, this week, it almost feels to me like a reset. There's just a lot of reset points. So, whatever is taking place over the weekend, indulge it because it's part of the reset. And then on March 8th, that Mercury in retrograde is going to have a trine with that Jupiter in retrograde. So there's more of this Jupiter wisdom and higher thinking, and even gifts that come in this week from Jupiter. This is the second time that we've seen Mercury meet up with this Jupiter while in retrograde, and we will see a third pass when Mercury moves direct in a few weeks. We'll move over the top of Jupiter, and by that time, Jupiter will be moving direct also. So it's going to be a much different conversation. But this conversation between Mercury and Jupiter is about the past, and it's about places that we need to go back to and have a reset with. But because Jupiter is there in exaltation in Cancer, I just feel like it's more gifts that are coming in this week for all of the hard work that we've put in. And on March 9th, the moon moves into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a more adventurous type of energy. It's another fire sign, so not afraid to be seen and be more expressive. Sagittarius is ruled by that Jupiter. Jupiter's deep in retrograde in Cancer and exaltation. So the moon in Sagittarius is quite wise. And on this same day, March 9th, Venus sextiles with Pluto. Pluto is at 4 degrees Aquarius. So as she moves Venus moves into Aries over the top of Neptune and Saturn, having this conversation with them still. All these 3 planets are basically sextiling Pluto. Pluto helping with the long-term transformation that is taking place and these new cycles burning off, totally defeating the old cycles so that we can have these fresh new beginnings as all of these planets move into Aries. It's just going to be full steam ahead, and it is an exciting time. We're coming up on the time of the year right at this moment where all the planets are, where we're going to have every planet moving direct as soon as Mercury is out of retrograde in about a month. We're going to have every planet moving direct. It's going to be full steam ahead. And so yeah, enjoy the last of this eclipse energy. It's very special. We'll have more eclipses in 6 months. We're going to be working with these Pisces Virgo themes until then. And that's, I guess, about it for this week. I really appreciate you being tuned in here to the Cosmic Community Astrology with your galactic ambassador, Stacey Dredd. Have an amazing week, and I will be talking to you again soon. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.